Musician by Porter Robinson. I had heard of Porter Robinson. I had never listened to Porter Robinson. I checked out this song. I was totally blown away. There's so many ways that this song is like a type of song that I have been waiting for so long. Finally, it exists and I can listen to it whenever I want. And like, you know, thank you world for this happening. So we're gonna talk about this song. Porter Robinson, musician. Let's go. So, stopping there, I want to kind of walk you through where my head was at first time listening to this song. This was very early in the morning. I had woken up at like 3:30. I have this thing where I like suck at sleeping. Basically, there were two stages of emotions here. The first was, oh wow, I really like this. And then the second was, uh-oh. And the reason I felt uh-oh is that I was worried about how much I liked the beginning part. I'm kind of assuming this is gonna be a pop song with a pop song structure, just based on what I had heard about the album. And I had never heard a song that took this type of kind of sampley, dreamy electronic music. Legit dream pop, you know? Not like your typical like dream pop where it's just pop music with some reverb on it. When I think of dream pop, I think of like music that sounds like something you would hear in a dream. That is how this sounds to me. There's something very otherworldly about it. It gives you this just positive feeling, like this shot of dopamine. I really want to hear a song that works with that style, right? I've heard some music like that. An artist I really love is Pogo. This guy who would sample like movies and TV shows, make this kind of dreamy type of music out of it. Something I really grew up with and has been a big part of my musical taste and kind of my musical upbringing. I'm gonna take this out. There was no way it would have worked. Hair's not long enough yet. It's just not ready. That type of music was part of my musical upbringing and kind of that basic taste in music. We all have our own basic foundational tastes and things that we just automatically gravitate to and automatically like. The thing with Pogo is he never really did any pop songs, that I know of at least. All of his stuff was just kind of instrumental tracks, sort of beats, and I love it, but I had always wanted to hear somebody take that style and make it into a pop song, and I've never heard that, and that was always what I hoped dream pop would be. I say uh-oh because I'm just worried that I'm gonna be let down. I've heard a lot of songs where it's like everything leading up to the chorus is awesome, and then the chorus is just underwhelming. It just feels like they ran out of steam. Like it was too good, everything that led up to the chorus, you know? We've started off really good, really epic, really big, and I'm worried about, can we go bigger in the chorus? Can we have a good verse even? Like, is this gonna work out? So yeah, very long-winded explanation of my uh-oh, but that's why I said this is really good and feeling a little apprehensive, and I'm like starting to look for flaws. Lucky me, I didn't find any. Already some of my worries are being eased because awesome verse melody. Let's see if I can get this right. My ears, they aren't what they used to be. I'm getting old. So at that point, I want something new to love. There I'm like, oh, it's a little awkward. Coming back to that note, that's the bass note of the key, right? Not that one. That's it. It just feels a little off to me. Then it leads right into this second half. I was so nostalgic. Those two notes that are a half step from each other, that happens on 3 to 4 and 7 to 1, right? When you can play around with that, it's just something I always like personally. It all works together, right? Even the little slightly awkward part leads nicely into something that adds a little extra flavor to that verse melody. He's not kind of sticking to a few notes. He's really playing around and trying different melodies. When you can do that in a way that doesn't sound confused and jumbled and also is pretty catchy, that's really a magical thing. Why my fears get eased here is because now I can tell, okay, he has good taste in vocal melody. I'm still a little worried because how are we gonna make a good chorus out of this? This is already really big. The entire EQ spectrum is full. We have bass, we have treble, we have everything in between. The panning spectrum is full. There's things on the left, on the right. It sounds very wide. It's like, what else are you gonna give me, you know? That's always a good move when your verse is big to not try to go bigger with the pre-chorus, because you have to have some, well, you don't have to, but it's often good to have some level of dynamics. You can do the small verse, bigger pre-chorus, big chorus model. This song is not doing that because the verse is really big. So it's good to bring it down a little bit in that pre-chorus. Just take away some of the instruments, lighter drums. The drums are mixed really, really low in this song anyway, but still the groove is present and it gets backed away a little bit. Some of the other instruments get backed away as well. There's a little bit less bass. There's just more space given for this part, and it prepares you for a chorus that is hopefully going to be big. So yeah, at this point, I'm just like, oh my God, please give me a good chorus. I don't know how you're going to, because again, the verse was so big and so satisfying. How are you going to give me a chorus that's even more satisfying? It would have to be like one of the best choruses I've ever heard. Hopefully it'll just be one of the best choruses I've ever heard, right?
Oh, it's calling. I just can't stop. I'm sorry. I can feel it deep down. Burn out. I shouldn't do this to myself.
Worries are gone. All worries are vanished. Hearing just that first half of the chorus, I'm like, he did it. I was just kind of chuckling to myself, you know, sometimes like something is so good, I just can't help but laugh. Like I start to find it funny how good it is, you know? Everything about it works. And here's the thing, what he does in the chorus, it's just something that I wouldn't personally have thought of, right? For me, it's like my kind of one-track mind is, we have this really great instrumental in the verse, so I want to play that as much as I can. Very simple, basically staying on this note as much as we can, this F sharp, and then just every now and then I would just be like, okay, how can I take that progression, that loop, and make a chorus melody on top of it, maybe add some more parts to make it bigger. I think if Porter had done that here, it would have flopped. It wouldn't have worked. But what he does that, again, I think is clever and just something I personally wouldn't have thought of, he goes to a just much more chorusy chord progression with the similar instruments, the similar sound. It's not like way more instruments get added and it's like bassier and there's more vocals and more parts and all that. He changes that chord progression to something more chorusy, more grand, more satisfying, and that's all he needs to do. Of course, he has a very chorusy vocal melody. Really, the thing that I think transforms this section from being what would have been kind of a continuation of the verse and an unsatisfying chorus into a very satisfying chorus is that change in chord progression. Absolutely brilliant chorus. So amazing that he managed to make such a great chorus out of a song that was almost destined to fail, because it feels like he had already laid out all his cards on the table. But again, I just hadn't thought of the possibility of bringing in a new chord progression and just filling it out that way. That's a perfect 1.5 minutes of music, and I'm just like, thank God there's 2.5 more minutes, because now I can just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the music. You took that pogo, that true electronic dream pop that's really actually sounds like it came from a dream, and you made a great pop song from it. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba freaking ba.
I shouldn't do this to myself.
Oh, okay. Point out just a quick thing. Listen to what he does to keep it dynamic again, because remember, that verse is big. So going right from your big chorus to your big verse, it could work, but it would just feel a little bit onslaughty, like, whoa, hey, just give me a little second to breathe. So he does. He ends that chorus by giving some space, letting the instruments stop, or at least a lot of them, and then giving a drum fill and bringing it right back in. It feels really energetic, like I still have more to give you. I'm still gonna keep this song big and fast and exciting. All you need is just a second, just a little breath, and then we can jump right back into it.
Do this to myself. This is what we do.
Right, back into that big verse. It gives you a breath, gives you some time to get ready for the verse again. So it was around here that I started to pay attention to the drums. There was that little fill in there. I'll play that again. Right there. Again, the drums are mixed so quietly here, but it shows you having drums at all, even if they're really quiet, it gives so much groove to the song. It gives so much energy to the song. These kind of trip-hoppy, stuttering drum grooves here, they add so much to the energy and to the life of this song. That can be the danger of making electronic music with vocals that are really compressed and really heavily auto-tuned. It can lose some of its life, and that can happen, you know, and that can be a criticism that gets thrown at some electronic music. I mean, dubstep is like the king of that criticism. Everything is so machine-like. Even in this machine-like style of music, you can give it that life and that lively energy by having things like that, having a little drum fill that's stuttering and weird. Even though you can tell like that's not a person playing it, it keeps it fresh and it keeps you on your toes. Also, having these vocal melodies that play around with the scale a little bit and aren't just rigidly staying exactly the same over and over again. Having new chord progressions coming in, keeping it dynamic, just keeping things interesting and fresh the whole way. I keep saying the word fresh, hence why this is my freshest song of the year. Doing stuff like that makes your song sound alive in a way that it very well could not have sounded if he had made it just like loops over and over again. I don't know what I was planning on saying there. I sort of went on like 20 tangents, but yeah, I like the drums and I noticed them and they're cool, and I like how the snare is kind of busy. So that's the bottom line.
I shouldn't do this to myself.
Love that, love that. And now he's gonna go into that last chorus. Again, we're thinking about dynamics, keeping the bigness from getting stale. Because if the entire song is big, then none of it is big. He's gotta find a way here to take away some instruments, give us another chorus that is big and satisfying as much, if not more, than the previous two choruses. What he does here, I think is really cool, and I like it. He brings in the second half of the chorus, so he just starts in the second half of the chorus, but it's stripped back a bit, and then he comes in with a full chorus, that full satisfying sound that we have come to love in these 3 minutes.
Sincerely, can't you feel what I'm feeling?
Just this like kind of bit crushed electronic-y sounding piano. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this thing that he's been doing in the chorus, right? He goes to this phrase where he doesn't finish, right? I can see my life so clear, I burn up, burn out, right? He interrupts himself. He finally doesn't do that here, and he finishes the word clearly and like finishes that phrase. So it's like, oh, we finally get to hear what he was gonna say before he interrupted himself. So I think it's really cool that he does that, and it leads nicely into this final chorus here. So let's play that again. I can point that out.
I can see my life so clearly, and I know it doesn't last, but I don't mind it all anymore. Oh, it's
That ending still really gets me. I love that he pulls away the rest of the instruments and just goes back to that piano. This album is largely piano based, and again, that goes back to what I'm talking about with the liveliness of this album, the fact that it doesn't feel robotic at all, even though it really could. I think it's really clear he wrote most, if not all, of these songs on the piano. It's cool to end with that. It strips back everything and we kind of just get to sit in the melody of the chorus, the chord progression, because again, that is really the meat of really most good songs. The meat of it is that chord progression. Is it a good song with a quality set of chord progressions and good vocal melodies and good lyrics? And this is that. And then he just really exploded it to the next level with these fantastic sounds, all just this like otherworldly, incredibly dreamy, nostalgic for something I don't even recognize, something I don't even know. There's something undeniably good about this song. The fact that sonically it's so unique and interesting and different, but then at its core, it's a good song. There are ways that this song thinks that I just haven't considered. Easily my favorite song of the year. You know, subscribe if you want to do that, like this video if you want to do that. I might not even say that anymore. I mean, you know how YouTube works. Whatever. Go listen to the song. That's the only thing you need to do. I don't care if you subscribe. I don't care if you like the video. Go listen to Musician by Porter Robinson. It is the best song of the year in my opinion. And yeah, that is it. That is the final thing. Goodbye.